Right, now at the sewing machine, everything might look a bit backwards. I've flipped the phone around so I can see what I'm doing, mate, just to make my life a little bit easier when recording. So I have loaded up some white thread, and I'll show you what we do here. So find which side is which on your pattern. So this one obviously goes here. Maybe you can see that, like that. I'll show you what we do for sewing up. So remember we made these notches on it, and the notches on the white. So we're going to make sure they all line up nicely together. Luckily on this machine I've got this nice little guide here that I can use that gives me the same seams, but you can do it by eye. It's got it on it, so I use it. Why not? So lining up these two notches that I've got here, bring it round, and you notice the white actually comes out slightly longer. That's to do with when it gets sewn and then flipped over. I don't know if you can see that, it will actually line up, you'll see in the end. So a couple of stitches forward, a couple back, that just locks it all together. Just sew round, making sure you get your lines lined up, and obviously you can stretch it and twist it to make them all go together nicely, or as nice as you can get it. With leather, different levers and different parts of the same leather can stretch in different ways, so just bear that in mind. You might not, one might go miles out and then the next one's easy to get in. You just got to sort of manipulate it as you go. So again, at the end of it, I've gone backwards a couple of stitches and then forwards again. It just locks the thread in place, stops it coming undone. Snip that off. Get rid of your long bit at the other end as well. So there you go, you've got two bits joined together. Now what I'm going to do is the same thing on the other side, but this time I'm going to be starting at the opposite end, working just so I'm still working with the white on top. Getting a bit shaky. So that's the two sides sewn on. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to top stitch these just because I think it looks a bit better. If you don't know what top stitching is, obviously you'll see in a minute. So yeah, it's all looking pretty good. So with the top stitching on this one, basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to fold the leather over like this, so the seam's facing this way on the white underneath. Then I'm going to stitch down here down this line, all the way down. Hopefully I'll be able to do it with the camera there. Get that under that foot. So what I'm doing is this side of the foot is sitting on the red, while the rest of the foot is on the white. Now the top stitching is something that you just have to practice to get used to doing. You'll probably find the first times you do it, it wobbles all over the place, all out of control, but just keep practicing. It's easy really once you've done it a few times. So again, one stitch forward, one stitch back to lock the stitches in place. So like I say, just folding it over like that, so all the seams are on the side, the right hand side, my right, which is the white, and just sew along. So basically like that. So not only does it have a good effect, it looks better, it actually holds the shape better, because when you fit it, the seams can always go in the right direction. When it's like this, it can end up all buckled up and it can look terrible. Also, obviously it gives extra strength. So that's what it looks like from the underside. I'll just do the same on the other. So that's both sides sewn up with the top stitch. So you'll notice you get these little flaps of leather, so what you want to do is just snip them off, following the shape. Same on this side. It's always a good idea as well to get rid of all your bits of cotton that's sticking up before you sew it up, because sometimes they can be a pain in the arse. They'll be sticking out and you just can't get your scissors or a blade to them. You end up having to burn them off with a lighter and things like that, and it's just a bit of a pain. So just take all them tabs off. Sometimes if you find that it's hanging over one end a little bit, just trim it up, it doesn't matter if it runs out slightly, because you just trim it off at this point and you're all good. That's it from the underside. So the notches are lining up. Right, next bit is this, the big border, which I'll be doing exactly the same. So that's the border all sewn on. So again, I'm going to top stitch round on the white side just to keep it all nice and uniform. And then once I've done that, I will sort of test fit it just to see how it's looking. Just lay it on, and then if it needs any adjustments, it can be done then before putting the front section on. And then the underside bit, the bit I haven't actually patterned yet, I always leave that till last. And then it's just a case of fitting it on, which we will get to. I will do, I think, a video on the actual sewing side of things as a separate, few sort of hints, tips and how to do. So if there's anything you want me to talk about or show, please leave a comment, and I will do a video to cover that if I can answer. Right, so I have put the bottom piece on. and a little bit at the front. So now it's ready to be fitted to the seat. So what you want to do, the line that you've drawn down the middle, or little mark, or whatever you've got as so it shows your middle line. You want to line those up with your line that you've drawn on your phone. Bringing the seam just over the edge of the phone. Put that in place. And come to the front. Do the same thing. What I tend to do is at the front, if you've got this sort of curve, just hook that bit over because it helps to hold it in place. And then come to the corners. Basically you want to work on the opposite side all the time, so do one corner then switch to the other, vice versa, till you get all the way round. That way it'll stop it all twisting over to one side. So just fit that on. And what you want, when the seams underneath, you want them on the metal side. You don't want them sitting on this side because you'll be able to see all the lumps and bumps when you pull it round. So always have them come round to the bottom. And then just work it round. Just have a look, see how it's looking. It seems to be going pretty good. Glue that I use is this. It's the main one that I use, so I found to be the best for this sort of thing. Alpha adhesives apparently, but it's just a contact adhesive, so you can pick one up in Toolstation, Screwfix, all that sort of thing. Just your basic contact adhesive. You want to pick up cheap brushes because you don't get many goes with them before they go rock solid. One of the things I do, which I picked up off my mate Elvis, who's a boat builder, is wrap a bit of tape around half of the brush. Then once you've been using it, it goes rock solid. Cut it off with your scissors and you get 2 goes to every brush, which is pretty handy. Right, so here we go, gluing up. Just want to check that this is reasonably clean and that it is going to take on the glue, no loose flakes or anything. This one is still sticky from the previous glue, so that's going to be absolutely fine. So you get your contact adhesive, just take that off. So you got your contact adhesive, get a bit of it on the brush. I always do the metal work first because it tends to take a little bit longer to dry on the metal than it does the leather. The leather kind of seems to soak it up a little bit. So what I'll try and do is glue round, and if you can, try and get it under where that seam is at the back, So you work your way round. And there's no rush with this because the glue takes quite a while to go off. So you normally have to hang around for sort of 10 minutes anyway to wait for it to go tacky before you can fix it. So I've gone around all the metal work. Now what I'm going to do is go around the leather obviously, but on these parts where it's folded in on itself and it's touching the foam, I will fold those back over. Basically just so I know that I can glue all round here and round here. See, it's lifting up already, so you can get glue in there no problem, so you haven't got to worry about that so much. But what you don't want to do is be poking glue up inside and then getting it all over the foam, and this is still touching it, and you'll come to stick it on and you tear all the foam, so you have to be careful with that. That's it, glued up all the way round. And what I tend to do, it normally takes sort of 5-10 minutes for it to go off enough to be able to stick it properly. I always judge it by the glue on the metal rather than the leather, because the leather will feel dry quite quick. So I always go by the metal work. If you put it on too early and that's not dry to the touch, or very sort of tacky, light tacky to the touch, you'll push it on, it'll just lift straight back off, it will not hold. You do really need to wait the proper time with contact adhesive, otherwise it is useless. Right, so I've left that for probably about 10 minutes, I suppose, maybe a little bit longer. It's now still a little bit wet, but I think we'll get away with it. It's tacky. So for this, I tend to put my gloves on now, just because it can get a bit messy. Once you start getting glue all over your fingers, you start transferring it to the wrong side of the leather. So with this sort of seat, I'll start at the back because that fits quite nice there anyway. It doesn't need pulling down very much. And just put that in place. Just a little bit of it, and then come to the front and hook these back over onto the inside, because then it's going to hold everything where it needs to be. So I've just got this corner on. Same the other side. So pulling the seam over the edge of the metal. And then just gently pulling it around, so your seam here is sitting on the edge basically. That's the ideal place for it. Sometimes you have to pull it a little bit further around, but if you can, get it sitting right on the edge. And then once you've got that on and the back, just work your way round. Just gently pressing it as you go. So now that front bit's on there, I'm going to come around and just get this in place. Then do the same this side. Just make sure you've got the seam underneath facing in the right direction as you go. It's quite awkward if you get it in the wrong way and you get a twist, it'll show on the sides. And once it's on, it's quite hard to sort of sort it out. You have to put a pin through the seam and try and hook it round. You can end up damaging the fabric and all sorts. So just put that all in place. Come round to the front. Just go around, making sure it's all in place nicely. Give it a check it's all still quite straight, it's not gone off to one side or the other. Make it nice and uniform. Also where you've got seams like here, so you've got seam going this way, one going this way, where it becomes quite thick, it's a good idea just to grab hold of it, just give it a bit of a squeeze just to get it in shape. Once you're happy with where it's sitting, I tend to use this old screwdriver because it's got a nice round handle in it. I'll just go round, just apply a bit more pressure to it. And what you can also do is just use a hammer and just tap it. It all helps. Right, the next bit is just to clean it up and get it ready for the customer. For cleaning, there's two things that I use. White spirit for things like if there's any sort of slight glue marks, or also if you're using Chinagraph pencils, but we'll get onto that another time. carpet and upholstery cleaner in a spray can. The foaming type is really good for sort of the more gentle marks and just general cleaning. And also another one is just baby wipes. They clean them up perfectly and they're not going to damage the leather at all or the vinyl. So with this one, I've just noticed I've got a slight, I don't know whether you can see it there, slight fingerprint from the glue, obviously where I've touched it with glue on the hands. So I'll get a bit of white spirit, clean cloth, just a dab. And that glue, because it hasn't been on there for too long, comes off easy. Just a little wipe and it comes off. As I'm doing this patch here, I will just wipe over the whole section, just because as it dries, sometimes you can still see sort of a bit of a mark where it's been. So just go over the whole thing. Give that a buff off a little bit. Just check the marks are gone, which they have. So put the white spirit away. So the normal technique that I use, if it hasn't got any glue on it or anything, is upholstery clean. This one's almost empty, but hopefully we'll have enough to get this one done. Give it a spray over. And then I'll use this soft bristle brush and just give it a bit of a once over. This will also get rid of that silver pen that I use to mark down the line in the centre. This upholstery cleaner will get rid of it, and also baby wipes will as well. Same with the chalk pen, that green pen that I was using, but it is a bit more work to get that off. Just give that a rub over and leave it a sec. Get rid of any marks that are on the underside. And what you don't want to be doing is, if you've just glued it up, is using white spirit on this edge, because if it soaks through, the glue will just let go and you have to start again. And then again, just clean cloth, just give it a wipe over. And that's it all done. So hopefully that video helps you out a bit if you're thinking of having a go at a seat yourself. It's simple enough to do, it just takes practice. If there's anything you want to see, any particular sort of styles of seat that you want to see how they're done, give us a shout, leave a comment. Also, I think probably I'll do some sort of foam reshaping job soon, because that seems to be quite a big one. People want to make like a normal seat into a cafe racer style seat. that kind of thing. I've got a couple of donor seats I can use, and I've also got a few interesting jobs coming up for customers as well, which I can show. So yeah, like and subscribe and all that stuff, and we'll do some more videos. Thanks for watching.